Greetings and welcome to this edition of Faith to Live By. I'm Pam Christian, your host of this weekly podcast, where I help us explore current events from a biblical and prophetic perspective. So as God's children, we can know how He wants us to respond in partnership with Him to see His kingdom will done on earth as it is in heaven. I have faithfully served my listeners since July of 2020. When, because of the undeniable lies, deception, and destructions clearly being perpetrated against the people of the world, I had to have a platform to get the truth out. I'm not saying, and I have never said, that I have the corner on truth, but I am brave enough with Christ to dig deep in research for the process of discovering truth. Because discovering truth is a process, there will be times as more evidence and information are uncovered, some prior conclusions will be necessarily adjusted. When this happens, I have always and will always update what I've shared. I want to be, and I believe I have, earned the place in your life among the truth advocates you trust the most. I understand the eternal importance of the work I have been doing since the early 90s in response to what I believe was God and is God's call on my life to be a truth bearer. It has not always been easy, and in fact, it has caused great divisions among people I very much love. I want all people to come to confidently know truth, but I realize not all will. I also understand the work I do as a teacher means I'm held to a higher accountability by God, a calling with tremendous responsibility that I willingly take. Today's topic deals with the reality of the greatest advancement of evil the world has ever seen, even greater than the days of Noah, and as God is always required, unless we intentionally disavow evil, unless we openly repent and renounce evil, we can be found complicit. As we have been learning, evil advances according to the degree we allow, according to the degree we fail to oppose it. God does not hold anyone accountable for what they don't know, but He does hold us accountable for the evil we choose to ignore or overlook. God has prophetically said of 2026, January would be a month of justice, February a ferocious month, and March the month of His roar. We are in the days of prophecy fulfilled now, and more than ever, we must choose with whom we want to be aligned. As the unimaginable extent of evil is exposed, tremendous numbers of people will experience shock, utter disbelief, and even cognitive dissonance. Sharing this podcast will help your loved ones gain the knowledge they need in a way that allows them to fully process the truth and find the hope God offers. I complete my research always in consistent inquiry of the Holy Spirit. I seek out many different sources to discover those that are trustworthy to bring you content entirely worthy of your time and consideration. Today is no exception. Alex Newman is an award-winning American journalist who is guided by God to expose evil and report truth, guided by Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. He is a most appreciated and regular guest on this podcast. This week, he is with us to discuss the Epstein model. I say model because the evil perpetrated involving Jeffrey Epstein is an advanced evil plot of the most heinous type against God and all who are aligned with God. With all I've learned over the years, I cannot allow the full extent of this evil to simply be categorized as the Epstein files, which I believe you will agree by the conclusion of this podcast should be characterized as the Epstein model. I have also garnered the prophetic insights of Hank Kunneman, Johnny Enlow, Barry Wunsch, Amanda Grace, and Julie Green, through whom God has spoken for the purposes of alerting His people to not only wake up to the truth, but to get engaged as partners with Him to rout out this gross advancement of evil through spiritual warfare. Then, to help us have a perspective as to what must be done in the natural, I have curated the words of Alex Jones from an interview he did with Benny Johnson, who has been intently reporting on the whole Epstein matter and has urgent action advice for President Trump. With everything I want to cover on this topic, I expect this to be a multi-part podcast. So, let's get started and see how far we get today. If you have not yet chosen to take time to learn the truth apart from mainstream media, which is controlled by the deep state, I encourage you to do so. But I warn you, it will not be easy to learn or believe. One of the most important documentaries I have watched to put all of this evil into perspective is called Out of the Shadows, produced by Michael Smith. You'll find a link in the show notes. Watch it only after being completely prayed up and away from any children's eyes or ears. Watching Seth Holhouse's interview of Max Lowen was also tremendously difficult to watch and learn, but essential for us to know what we are dealing with. Max Lowen is a woman who, as a child, was subjected to all manner of satanic rituals, abuse, and torture, who miraculously escaped, and beyond comprehension was able to overcome her trauma and be restored to a life in Christ, who now works to help others out of satanic atrocities. Her testimony is evidence that the extent of evil is real. It is not the unfounded claims of radical Christian patriots. As Max Lowen shared, what we are learning is not conspiracy theories, as the CIA and other government intel agencies have tried to make us believe. It is a global hierarchy of satanic powers that have been at work since ancient times, ever working in secrecy through people in positions of world power at all levels, including the Vatican, the religious arm, the City of London, the banking or monetary arm, and Washington, D.C., the military arm, to advance their fiendish kingdom, which is the epitome of all evil at work in our midst. I have a link to Seth Holhouse's interview of Max Lowen and to her website in the show notes. Anyone who is familiar with what God has revealed in the Bible about the origin and intentions of evil, about the advancement of evil that must take place on earth under God's control until the right time when God utterly destroys evil once and for all, should not be surprised at what is being exposed. Anyone who has been personally seeking God to have an understanding and to be in alliance with our God, who has already secured complete victory for his people, and who has demonstrated his power and faithfulness since the beginning of time, should not be overcome with fear, but emboldened to take our rightful place in God's plan with confidence in his promises. With all I've shared so far, I now want to play the prophetic words of Hank Kunneman titled, Justice is Coming, Spring 2026. It was posted originally on February 5th, 2026.
All the earth is filled with the wonder of your love. Worthy you are, holy you are.
Do not pervert my justice, says the God of all grace. And so you stand in the earth and you say, how have we perverted your justice? It is because you believe your lying media. You believe those who post their pontifications, their inadequacies, their errors. And you think you really know what is going on. Yet this is the time that I am gathering the children to me. And the voices of the children that are here with me in heaven, who never, ever were allowed to walk upon the soil of the earth, they speak. They speak loudly in the heart of the Father. But there are those children in the earth who have been victims, trafficked, abused, lied to, and they were told, shh, tell no one. You have seen whistleblowers. Now the children shall speak. And I will reveal the true list And I will reveal those who have touched the children, for they will be given a voice. And it is not whom you think. And there are those children that were raised among very high political, influential rulers, governors, entertainers, who you have thought that they were the guardians and the parents of their children. But it was a lie. Perverse. Messed. But the children shall speak, and they will say, this is and was not my father, and this one is not my mother, and this one is not of the gender you think. Do not pervert my justice, for they cannot run and they cannot hide. They have mocked me to my face. Now the perpetrators shall face it.
Having heard that prophecy, now let's listen to the next portion of my interview with Alex Newman, where I concluded last week. I want to shift gears a little bit here because it's a hot topic. I won't be able to ignore it. And that has to do with the recently 3.5 million documents of the Epstein files that were released this particular week that I'm interviewing you. Let me just ask you to run with it. What is your take? How do you think we're going to fare from all of this at this point?
Well, there's still a lot to be discovered, but I'll tell you what is coming out now with Epstein may end up being the biggest scandal in the history of the United States of America. I mean, this makes Watergate look like nothing by comparison. We've got smoking gun evidence of child rape, child sex trafficking, torture of children. We've got references to dead bodies of girls buried on Epstein's farm. We've got people at every in every sector of society at the highest levels: science, academia, politics, business, economics, you name it, involved and implicated in all of this. We have, all those nonsense claims about Pizzagate is a debunked conspiracy theory. Oh, go look up pizza in the Epstein files. And please somebody explain to me, what does it mean that we only have one slice of pizza, but all 7 of you can share it? I would love to know what that means. I'd love to get these people under oath and ask them, what did you mean with that? Something unbelievably evil, unbelievably nefarious is being exposed here. And most Americans don't know it because the fake media is talking about fake scandals, fake issues. They're trying to implicate Trump, which is really interesting. I mean, if Trump had been implicated in these emails, that would have been on the front page of every newspaper in this country this morning. And of course, it's not. So that tells me that Trump is not implicated. In fact, there's evidence actually exonerating him. But what is coming out with these Epstein emails now is perhaps the most explosive scandal in American history. Maybe multiple of the most explosive scandals that we've ever seen in American history. We know now that Epstein was deeply involved with the Rothschild dynasty. They paid him $25 million. We've got the contract. I don't know what kind of services Mr. Epstein provided for $25 million, but a lot of us would like to know. Something really, really fishy is going on here. And I think everybody who's implicated in an incriminating way here needs to be brought in immediately for questioning, under oath, under penalty of perjury. We've got to get to the bottom of this. And these people, I want to be really clear here, these people must go to jail. right? Stealing money, it's bad. That's one thing. Raping and torturing and trafficking children, that's a whole nother level. And every one of these sick freaks belongs in a prison for the rest of their lives if we as a society are feeling very, very generous and merciful.
Absolutely. And other things that are coming out from these files have to do with cannibalism
Yep.
and Satan worship. And these are things that we need to understand were commonplace for many of the people who associated with Epstein. Would you like to talk about that just a little bit before we push on to another aspect?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, we have references here to some things that are so far beyond horrible that people can't even comprehend them. I'm reminded actually of Ephesians chapter 5, I believe it's verse 12, that some of these things are so shameful we can't even speak of them. But we need criminal investigators from the Department of Justice, from state governments, from local governments all across this country to be pouring through these and nailing these people to the wall. We're talking about monstrous crimes being perpetrated against children. We're talking about babies being murdered and tortured. I mean, it gives you goosebumps even just thinking about how wicked this is. And nobody wants to acknowledge. Everybody just wants to put their head in the sand, but that's not acceptable. If we cannot protect innocent children, if we cannot protect the victims of these monsters, who are we as a society? They need to be arrested. They need to be put in jail. I'm even okay with the DOJ making deals with some of the lower level people. Like, all right, you tell us what you know, and we'll give you 5 years or time served or whatever instead of life in prison. But we've got to get to the bottom of this, and we now have the evidence in our hands. There's a lot of redactions. The FBI and the DOJ said they were only going to redact names to protect innocent victims. Go read those documents. They redacted names to protect nasty criminal perpetrators. So that's got to stop. That's absolutely got to stop. We need to know who these people are that were emailing with Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates ought to be in prison for the rest of his life. Again, if we're feeling generous and merciful. The things this man has been involved in. Now we've got, the WHO, him and Epstein talking about a pandemic. How do we get rid of all the poor people? I mean, they're literally talking about mass extermination of human beings. This is just beyond the pale, and they all need to go to jail.
And you bring out an excellent point. What was redacted does not necessarily protect the innocent. It is protecting the perpetrators, the people who are the higher level decision makers. And the timing of the release of this document by these people who are thinking they are protecting themselves in part, along with all the fraud that is being discovered in Michigan, Minnesota, California, Ohio, Chicago, it goes on and on. It seems like everything is really, really ramped up. It seems to me, Alex, that this is the time that President Trump has the backing of the American people who voted for him, who want righteousness and the laws upheld. This is the time that he can act in as much force as he needs within law to rectify so many things at once. What do you think about that?
No question about it, right? And if we go back to the scriptures, the purpose of government, the reason why God instituted civil government was to punish evil. The things that have just been revealed in the Epstein files are the epitome of evil. It's evil beyond what even sadistic minds can contemplate. And so if we can't punish that evil, what do we even have a government for? Like, let's just, start over. This is ridiculous. If child trafficking, child rape, child torture, murder of children, talking about exterminating huge numbers of people, cannibalism, if we can't punish these things, if we can't restrain that level of sin, I'm sorry, but the government is worse than useless. And during the previous administration, government kind of got turned on its head, right? I mean, the purpose of government is punish evil and protect the good. They were punishing the good and protecting the evil. But Trump has now a historic opportunity. It's been just like delivered into his lap. It's perfectly teed up. It's ready for a grand slam. All he's got to do is take it. If he doesn't, I know he said publicly he thought he could go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and everybody would still support him. I don't think that's going to hold true here. If these criminals are not brought to justice, if we don't see arrests and things, I think a big part of his base is going to start fracturing and wondering what is going on here.
I tend to agree with you. Please keep everything you've heard so far in mind as I now play excerpts from Johnny Enlow's interview with Kelsey O'Malley from the Elijah Streams.
You know, Elon is saying all the right things. People are like, they're throwing, here's just for everybody to know right now. It's like, no, I understand. Elon is mentioned in a bunch of places and Trump is mentioned in over 5,000 pages. Yes, he is. You know why he's mentioned in over 5,000 pages out of the 3 million pages? They're like, how do we bring him down? How do we take him down? How do we set him up? They know they're in trouble, that he is the agent of the king, that he is out to remove them. And so there are setups and attempts and every other kind of thing. And so some of the pages that are coming out, there's an AI incursion that's being done to make President Trump look like he did something way worse than he did. And you just need to know that Epstein himself said, no, he never would. The people that were there, the girls that came out telling on is like, no, President Trump was never involved in doing any of that. He was never on the island. So and not that that's the only place where the evil was being done.
Well,
But
Johnny, too, don't you think, why would they bother trying to assassinate him and trying to impeach him and all? Why would they do that if they knew that he was in the Epstein files doing evil things? They could have just released that a long time ago.
yeah.
Doesn't
And you
make sense.
No, and you see the setup and the wisdom of President Trump. No, there's nothing. Let it go. And so he baited them with that.
Yeah.
And made them beg for it, made the media beg for it. And so now they're finding out that a minimum of 90% of all those that are being contaminated with the information, I say contaminated, exposed would be a better way of saying it, shown that they were part of this in some way or another. Their friends, you know, the owner of TMZ, I'm trying to remember his name right now, whoever's running the Olympics committee for the United States. And these guys, they're anywhere from very close friends of Epstein to involved in some way or another. And so this is a reality of what's taking place, the exposures that are taking place. And Elon is saying all the right things. I've seen all the ones that are legitimately his quotes. And this is what he's like, he's making a point. We've been hearing this. There needs to be some justice on this, or it's all a waste. And that's where we're going. That's what we want to contend for. That's what we want to rise up and be a part of, a voice in a practical way. But declarations, pray, prophesy, speak it into being. Don't be so under PTSD that you don't exert the influence that you do have as a royalty, as king, as a king's kid, a king's son, a king's daughter.
Next, I want you to hear the compilation of what Alex Jones shared when he was interviewed by Benny Johnson.
And so it really is good versus evil. And Trump has to face this. I know it sounds crazy for a 79-year-old man to come out and say we're facing pedophile Satanists. He thinks it's bad for the stock market, but they try to connect him to it with no evidence. He has to go ahead and hammer him. And I think he said like 3 days ago, he goes, wow, this vindicates me. It's like, yeah, Trump, I've studied it. I've talked to witnesses. You're not involved. So why are you being, because he's like, well, it's a big mess and we don't know what to do. No, they're trying to hang it around your neck because it's what they fear. They demonize what they fear. Oh, don't cover our pedophilia or we'll hang it around your neck. No, whatever they don't want you to do, you should do. And so this is Trump's chance to finish him off right now. If he comes out with press conferences and exposes them and talks about it, it's absolutely game over. I mean, you have the Clintons trying to not testify. Now they're going to testify. You have the head of their foundation convicted of smuggling Haitian kids out of Haiti. You've got them. You've got them. And again, there's no evidence of Trump. They would have used it. So the idea that he hasn't done that is what drives me crazy, because we have victory in our hands. All Trump's got to do is punch one button and talk about this and point them out, and we've beat them. This is a giant complex of evil that the average person, even President Trump, isn't aware of. And so that's why they're trying to suppress it, and that's why they're so scared. But now the cat's out of the bag. So Trump is either going to help push all this out and come out against it which he's already done partially, or even though he's not involved, he will be blamed being part of the cover-up. So he must understand, for his mission to save America and save the world, and for his own future legacy, he must all in with us now and just vaporize the Democrats, destroy the deep state, or he will be, in his legacy, irrevocably tied to this fraud. They never thought that the public would push this out. They never thought a president would expose it. But because they're trying to pin it on Trump, I believe he'll finally release it all. He already is. So we know they have all those videos. We have Todd Blanchard saying, well, and so the public is about to have a big wake-up call. It's kind of the end of childhood here mentally, and realize how bad this is. And so Trump either goes to war with this and owns fighting it, which he's starting to do, and he's seen the success of that, or if he in any way doesn't push the release of this, he gets irrevocably tied to it, even though he was never part of it. And so that's really Trump's big choice right now. This is ours to lose. And if Trump goes on the offense, we win quickly. We turn this around. We have a new golden age. They'll actually won. But we got to have strength right now. So it's done. It's over. They've lost. And they need to realize that and give up right now. I mean, the rats are leaving the sinking ship right now. I mean, this is historic. It's very, very dangerous. And I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet, but for God's sakes, Trump saying 3 days ago or 2 days ago, oh, I'm exonerated. Oh, yeah, because they lied to him and said, sir, there's a bunch of lies about you. And plus we can't prove it. So he's like, okay, you know what? No, Trump, this is your victory. This is your Excalibur, but you've got to execute it. And it's yours to lose. Just cry havoc, let loose the dogs of war, to quote Shakespeare. Now is the time that people want truth. We need the truth. It's already devastating. It's not going away. I mean, Epstein went from being a 10, like a Spinal Tap, to an 11 to 100. I mean, it is now just, this is never stopping. It's never going away. And it's emblematic of the collapse of the old power structure where we are right now. So lead, follow, get out of the way. Trump's already the leader. He's totally innocent. Just come out and lead us on a crusade against the satanic pedophiles, the Islamicists, the leftists, the communists, the globalists, the EU, the Chi-Coms, and Trump. We will back you 1 trillion%. We want action.
I know President Trump's team is closely connected with Benny Johnson and all the work the Benny Johnson team does, and I hope President Trump's team has already heard the interview I quoted from. But knowing President Trump has many traitors in his midst, let's be in earnest prayer that he understands from the Lord what he needs to do now, using the truth of the Epstein files that have been exposed to defeat the deep state demonic pedophiles worldwide. Because of time, I'll stop here for now, but please know I'll pick up at this point next week, and I'll share more of what God has prophetically said through Barry Wunsch, Amanda Grace, and Julie Green. Please understand, for God to speak so often on a specific topic through so many of his prophets means it's of critical importance for us to know and to make certain to align ourselves with his plans. I'll also share from the interview of Max Lowen, as given on the Man in America interview, where she explained the workings of the evil empire are designed to be done in secret to keep us, the very people who are essential to the existence of the evil ones, unaware of our bondage to them, and how the Jeffrey Epstein machine is just a small part of the massive global model. Given the times we're living and the specific content of my books, I especially recommend Examine Your Faith, Finding Truth in a World of Lies for anyone who is not confident about the supreme authority of the Christian faith as opposed to all other religions. I also recommend Prepare for the Harvest, Confidence in God's End-Time Promises for anyone who is battling fear because of the times we're living. Now I ask you to please listen to my closing announcements and to take advantage of the special listener book discount I offer you, and to consider availing of the many goods and services I bring you in an effort to at least cover the costs of this podcast. If you like what you hear from me with this podcast, I highly recommend my book series, my award-winning blog, and consider signing up for my certificate course in apologetics. My aim with that course is to help people learn how not only to use apologetics to share truth with others, but to help Christian leaders incorporate apologetics into their respective ministries so more Christians are learning how to share their faith. You can learn more by using the link in the show notes. For now, I offer my weekly podcasts, my blog, and bi-monthly e-newsletter at no cost. And certainly I have hard costs associated with doing all I do. If you've been blessed by my work and would like to help my work reach others, why not consider partnering with me? For as little as $10 a month, you can become a partner. Then together we can reach even more people for Jesus. Simply visit my Pamela Christian Ministries homepage and then click on the Give button at the top menu bar. Or if you prefer, you can go directly to the Give page using the link in the show notes. To become a partner, you can use my PayPal or Venmo account, but you will also see other ways you can support my work on that page. Whether you choose to become a monthly partner, give a one-time donation, purchase my books and products from my web store, or support my affiliate sponsors, anything you can do to help me continue this work would be greatly appreciated. And as always, your prayers and telling others about me and my ministry work is much needed. When it comes to my selection of affiliate sponsors, I first look for Christian-owned and operated businesses, and I make a point of personally using the products or services so I can fully endorse them. I seek sponsors that offer products or services you can get via the internet worldwide, and I specifically consider what is common to most people universally. So you'll find health, beauty, and wellness products through Dr. Zelenko's Z-Stack supplements and from QE Strong. Dr. Zelenko's Z-Stack supplements are truly amazing and are available to my listeners for a 5% discount per purchase or a 10% discount for a monthly subscription using the promo code FTLB. You may have heard my interview with Rob Renee about QE Strong. Discover the benefits of quantum energy to overcome all sorts of ailments. Visit QEstrong.com and use the promo code FTLB at checkout to receive your discount. Then my newest affiliate I'm really excited to bring you is Q Streaming. That's CUE Streaming Television. People with United States addresses can get over 3,000 channels, including live TV with streaming television without a contract. Get all of your local networks and favorite movie and sports and pay-per-view channels for about half of what cable costs. See the video promo link in the show notes to learn more. Affiliate sponsors only provide financial support to me when you purchase what they offer. So before you support Amazon or any other retailer, if I offer what you're looking for, please purchase through me. When it comes to special occasions, birthdays, or Christmas gifts, consider my books, jewelry, CDs, and more from my web store or any of the affiliate goods and services I offer. When you purchase from my web store, be sure to use the promo code TRUTH, TRUTH, to receive a 20% discount. Again, you'll find all the links in the show notes. If you like the content and resource material I bring you with this podcast, you'll find much more by connecting with me through my blog. In fact, my blog has been awarded 2 unsolicited awards for Christian content. And I'm also very active on social media. I can cover much more on social media than I can with this weekly podcast. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my complimentary bi-monthly e-newsletter. I offer encouragement, special offers, and one of my signature recipes with each and every edition. Yep, I'm a foodie and I love to entertain, which is why Faith, Family, Friends, and Food is a bonus segment of my bi-monthly e-newsletter. To receive even more, please be sure to check out my dedicated podcast listeners page, Beyond the Podcast. Here's where we can connect exclusively and you can download complimentary devotionals, resources, and more. On that page, I also ask you to help me learn more about you and what you want by completing the form visible once you scroll down that page. And something that is very easy for you to do and would mean a lot to me is for you to rate, subscribe, or comment on this podcast according to what your preferred listening platform allows. You know how it works. The more likes and subscriptions to this podcast, the more opportunity we have to expand the listening audience. And that means we can reach more people with the gospel message of Jesus while helping people learn how to better apply their Christian faith. I hope you'll join me next week and tell your friends and family to listen right here on Faith to Live By, where we learn how to gain spiritual victory over life's issues. Until next week, I'm Pam Christian, asking you to remember Christ died for us. The least we can do is live for Him.